It was an emotional event at the National Fallen Firefighters Memorial Service in Maryland, as 2 firefighters from Gresham Fire Department were remembered. Thanks for joining us. I'm John Adams. Brian Flowers and Brandon Norbury were the first Gresham firefighters lost in the line of duty. Flowers passed away on November 19th of last year after a battle with leukemia. He started his career with the Gresham Fire Department in 2008, serving the community for over 15 years. Norbury was also honored. He died on February 3rd, 2023, after he collapsed during a training session. He was with the fire department for more than 15 years. Fire Chief Scott Lewis says they'll always be remembered for their bravery and sacrifice.
Not everybody can do the work that Brandon and Brian did. It is a calling. It takes a special something to go into a burning building when everybody else is trying to get out. To put others before yourself is something that firefighters across Gresham, across the Metro Portland area, across the country do every day.
The mission of the National Fallen Firefighters Foundation is to honor America's fire heroes, support their families, and work to reduce preventable firefighter death and injury. Hundreds of firefighters from around the nation who died in the line of duty were honored at the ceremony. Here's how the city of Portland took part in the campaign last night. The Morrison Bridge was lit up red. It's part of the foundation's Light the Night campaign. And it wasn't just the bridge. Moda Center and the Convention Center spires also shining red. Well, turning now to weather, we're only 5 days into May, but every day so far this month we've seen measurable amounts of rain, and that includes today. Let's bring in meteorologist Joe Ranieri. He's in the Weather Center tonight. And Joe, we talked about 80s last night. Are they still on track to happen?
Absolutely right, still on track. And there's a few locations, maybe next weekend, they're going to be looking at temperatures close to 90 degrees. I'll talk more about that in a few minutes, but I want to talk about all the rain that we've been seeing basically the last couple of days. Over an inch of rain has fallen in downtown Portland basically since Friday night. I just looked in the bucket. We got about half of an inch of rain since yesterday in Goose Hollow here outside our studios. As we look at the radar right now, we're just seeing some passing showers. Expect to see some drier conditions heading into the later part of this evening, but there's going to be another round of showers that will be waiting for us heading into your Monday morning commute. Right now, the bricks are a little bit on the wet side, obviously, with a temperature of 53 degrees. Winds are pretty light coming in from the southwest, about 10 miles an hour, and the winds will be relatively light the rest of your night. But as we look at the hour-by-hour forecast, we'll put Futurecast into motion. You can kind of see those showers picking up again really after midnight tomorrow, and then we'll start to see those wet conditions carry over into the later part of the morning and into the afternoon. There's also a slight chance to see some thunderstorms develop, and if you're going to be traveling over the mountain passes, believe it or not, John, you're going to be looking at another round of heavy snow between now and the end of let's say Wednesday. You'll be looking at anywhere from 10 to 15 inches of snow outside Timberline Lodge. I'll talk more about that and the warm-up coming up in a few minutes.
All right, Joe, thank you. We'll see you a little later in the show. Well, it took a combined effort by first responders in Gresham to potentially save the life of a stabbing victim. Just after midnight, Portland Fire and Rescue was called to the area of East 181st and Burnside. There they found a person with multiple stab wounds. The problem? There was no ambulance close by, and with how badly the victim was hurt, they needed to act quickly. With the help of Gresham police, they loaded the victim into a police car to get them to the ER. Their condition is unknown at this time. One person has been arrested for assault, but Gresham police believe others were involved. Detectives are investigating a fatal shooting in Northeast Portland. Police responded to shots fired after 4 in the morning along Northeast Weidler Street, just blocks from Moda Center. They found a man dead in the street. They don't have any suspects right now. We'll keep you updated on the situation as we get more information. One person is in the hospital after a crash this afternoon in eastern Hillsborough. This is what firefighters responded to at East Main Street and 72nd Avenue. They extricated one person from the car. Roads are now back open. On Monday, trial begins for the man charged in the death of a Vancouver police officer. Julio Segura faces murder, burglary, and other charges after a Clark County Sheriff's deputy mistakenly shot and killed Officer Donald Sahota back in 2022. Prosecutors say Segura is to blame because before the shooting, he allegedly got in a fight with Sahota and stabbed him multiple times. When deputies got to the scene, Segura had run into a home and Sahota, with his gun out, was mistaken for the suspect and shot. Segura pled not guilty to all charges.
it's huge to be able to see the community kind of bounce back from it and be able to, see everybody face to face and forge those connections. It's amazing.
And it's just so nice to see kind of all the camaraderie with this whole class being through the same thing in 2020. We're all here together.
A new chapter begins for perhaps one of the most challenged groups of college students in recent memory. Today, nearly 800 students at the University of Portland earned their bachelor's degree at the Childs Center on campus. Due to the outbreak of coronavirus, many in this class didn't have a traditional high school graduation, making today feel that much more impactful to them. The state of Oregon is in need of nurses, and one local college is dedicated to helping fix the problem with an accelerated training program. Our Sydney Dorner spoke with a local woman fulfilling her dreams thanks to this opportunity. Sydney.
John, Morgan Beatty is from right here in Portland and spent most of her life caring for animals as a veterinarian technician. When the pandemic hit, her son was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. That inspired her to shift her own career into healthcare. But she wouldn't have been able to make that big career jump without Concordia University, St. Paul. Many healthcare workers left the field during or after the 2020 pandemic. The stress of the worldwide health crisis pushed many to rethink their careers. All Morgan Beatty saw was opportunity.
So I actually used all of my economic stimulus money to go back to school to become a nurse.
Her son had been diagnosed with type 1 diabetes, and as a veterinarian technician, she already had a love for caregiving.
So I spent a long time in the pediatric ICU with him and just watching how the nurses were working together and care for him.
Fast forward to today, Morgan is 1 week from becoming one of those nurses she once admired, thanks to Concordia University St. Paul having an accelerated 16-month nursing program. According to the American Association of Colleges of Nursing, despite the demand, traditional colleges and universities lack the faculty, clinical sites, and clinical programs to serve the number of students interested, turning away over 65,000 qualified applicants in just 2023. Dr. Kate Whalen, director of the Concordia St. Paul program, tells us Oregon produces the third fewest nursing graduates per capita in the U.S. The program she leads is dedicated to fixing that issue.
That's why we are trying to give students access to education and let them come in and become the nurses that they really want to be.
For Morgan Beatty, soon to be a full-fledged nurse, being a part of the Concordia program opens doors to a brighter future.
I realized that I wanted to be a part of something bigger and something more important.
It's a very visually pleasing event, so if you can just ignore the rain that we are all very used to here and just try to enjoy what we produced, it's a lot of fun.
The latest stretch of rain couldn't stop people from coming out to the waterfront park. This weekend was the 37th annual Cinco de Mayo fiesta. From live music and performances, handcrafted art, family-friendly activities, plus food and drink, you can enjoy all aspects of Mexican culture, especially from Portland's sister city of Guadalajara. Organizer Treadway Event says this event is important, not just to celebrate the culture, but also because it's formed its own tight-knit community.
They all really care about each other, and it's really beautiful to watch how they all support each other when it is raining. If somebody needs help or if they needed to put a tarp up, everybody else at every other tent jumps in.
The fiesta runs through 11 tonight. At 6, there will be a grand reveal of a mural. It's the first time that's going to happen, and it will take place every year from now on.